Angkor Wat. The impossible wonder that defies modern science. 1,000-year-old unsolved mysteries. Angkor Wat, a mysterious architectural wonder in the heart of Cambodia's jungle. If Egypt astounds the world with its enigmatic pyramids, India takes pride in its intricately carved stone temples, and China boasts the majestic Great Wall, then Cambodia, Vietnam's southwestern neighbor, holds in its hands a timeless, precious gem, Angkor Wat. This monument is not simply a temple, but a miniature world of art, religion, and unsolved mysteries. Amid the vast tropical jungle, Angkor Wat rises like a stone fairy tale dream. The lotus bud-shaped towers soar up to 65 meters, taller than the bell tower of Europe's grandest 15th-century cathedral, casting reflections onto the still waters below, creating a scene that feels half real, half surreal. Spanning a vast 1.626 million square meters, 300 times the size of a standard football field. The entire complex was constructed from 5 to 10 million sandstone blocks, each weighing about 1.5 tons. To imagine the scale, if all this stone were stacked into a 1-meter-high wall, it could circle the Earth's equator nearly twice. What makes Angkor Wat humanity's greatest masterpiece is not just its massive scale, but its astonishing perfection in every detail. Around 3,000 bas-reliefs etched into its stone walls depict epic Hindu tales, each one a vivid work of art. The celestial dancers, asparas, appear with 37 different hand adornments. Divine battles are recreated with minute detail down to each strand of hair, and the image of a four-tusked elephant, a species that went extinct 2 million years ago, continues to baffle archaeologists. How could the ancients have known about such prehistoric creatures? Angkor Wat's architecture presents a technical puzzle. The stone blocks are fitted together without mortar, yet so tightly that a knife blade can't pass between the joints. A sophisticated drainage system with stone channels runs along corridors to prevent flooding during monsoon seasons. The towers are positioned so that the sun's rays shine through the central spire on the spring equinox, evidence of astronomical and mathematical knowledge far ahead of its time. Even today, with modern technology, recreating such a structure remains a colossal challenge. But what casts a truly mystical air over Angkor Wat are the secrets it guards. Why have archaeologists found no evidence of habitation for the tens of thousands of laborers who built it? How did 12th-century Cambodians transport 5 million tons of stone through the jungle without leaving a trace of their roads? One relief depicts the god Indra holding an object resembling a telescope, an invention that wouldn't exist for another 500 years. Such questions fuel speculation that Angkor Wat may be the legacy of a lost prehistoric civilization, or perhaps even bear the mark of extraterrestrial intelligence. Recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1992, Angkor Wat is not only a source of national pride for Cambodia, but also a shared treasure of humankind. Every sunset, as the golden light bathes the ancient stone towers, visitors feel as though they are touching the soul of a legendary golden age. The temple stands there, silently defying time and human comprehension, reminding us that some secrets of the past still await discovery. A millennia-old mystery, Angkor Wat, alien creation or lost legacy of a prehistoric civilization? Imagine standing before Angkor Wat at dawn, when the first rays of sunlight pierce through its 5 stone towers, casting shadows that resemble Mount Meru, the mythical center of the universe in Hinduism. In the stillness of that moment, a question suddenly arises. How could people in the 12th century, without machinery or modern measurement tools, create such a timeless wonder? According to historical records, Angkor Wat was built in the early 12th century by King Suryavarman II as a temple dedicated to Vishnu. But the more scientists study it, the more implausible it becomes. 5 million tons of sandstone were transported from Mount Kulin, 50 kilometers away, the equivalent of moving 3,000 heavy-duty trucks through dense jungle. Even more astonishing, the 1.5-ton stone blocks were assembled so precisely, without mortar, that the margin of error is just 0.08 millimeters. A precision that modern lasers can barely achieve. Professor Uchida of Waseda University once exclaimed, "We used satellites to discover the ancient canal system." But we still don't understand how they calculated the hydraulics needed to transport the stones. The mysteries deepen as archaeologists uncover images of telescopes carved into the walls, hundreds of years before the device was invented, or four-tusked elephants brought to life in such detail that it seems the sculptors must have seen them with their own eyes. The pinnacle of intrigue is the array of 108 Bayan faces. Each wearing a different mysterious smile. Each expressing a distinct emotion, joy, sorrow, contemplation, whose meaning remains unsolved. These findings have sparked a controversial hypothesis. Could Angkor Wat be a replica of a prehistoric civilization? In 2007, satellite images revealed a buried ancient city spanning 3.000 square kilometers, 10 times the size of Paris, with a complex hydraulic system. This discovery contradicts historical accounts of the Khmer Empire's decline in the 13th century. Amateur archaeologist Braven Mohan questioned, how could a collapsing kingdom possess the manpower and resources to build something so advanced? The mystery grows when one learns that Angkor Wat sits precisely on a ley line, a straight axis connecting the Giza pyramids, Easter Island, and the mythical city of Atlantis. It is also the only place on Earth with carvings of a 9-planet solar system, with Neptune discovered in 1846, and Pluto in 1930. Leading many to believe that the true creators of Angkor Wat possessed astronomical knowledge far beyond their time. Though mainstream science still affirms that Angkor Wat was the achievement of the Khmer people, the unanswered questions linger. Why are there no records of the construction process? Why is the sculpture from Suryavarman II's time more rudimentary than the temple's carvings? As explorer Henri Mouhot wrote in 1860, Angkor Wat feels like a gift from a distant past, given to people not yet ready to understand it. To this day, Angkor Wat stands, majestic and mysterious, as a challenge to time itself. Some believe it is a remnant of the legendary Atlantis. Others claim it was left behind by visitors from another world. But perhaps its greatest power lies in how it awakens our endless curiosity. Could human history be hiding an epic chapter we've yet to uncover? Angkor Wat, the Grand Stone Symphony, when ancient engineering surpasses modern technology. Imagine building a colossal Lego set with 10 million pieces, each weighing 1.5 tons, no instructions, no machinery, and every piece must fit flawlessly. That was the challenge the builders of Angkor Wat conquered. This structure is not just a pinnacle of art, it is a technical marvel that leaves even modern architects in awe. The mystery begins with the pink sandstone blocks quarried from Mount Kulin, 50 kilometers away, to transport 5 to 10 million tons of stone through dense jungle terrain. The ancient Khmers dug a 32 kilometers canal, equivalent in length to the longest mountain tunnel in Southeast Asia. By floating the stones along water currents, they turned these massive blocks into silent ships gliding through the forest. As Professor Uchida from Japan admitted, even after discovering the canal via satellite, we still can't comprehend how they calculated the buoyancy and flow rates so precisely. But the real miracle began when the first stones arrived at the site. The Khmer used a technique called assemble first, carve later, a daring choice demanding absolute precision. They constructed the 65-meter-tall architecture block by block, then delicately sculpted every detail, as if breathing life into stone. These blocks were fitted without mortar, with gaps only 0.08 millimeters wide, thinner than a strand of human hair, allowing Angkor Wat to withstand thousands of earthquakes. To this day, it remains a mystery. How did they achieve such measurement accuracy without 3D scanners or laser tools? Angkor Wat's three-tiered architecture is a perfect metaphor for the universe. Level 1, Underworld, a vast hydraulic system of moats that expertly manages water, keeping the temple flood-free despite Cambodia's annual rainfall of 2.000 millimeters. Level 2, Earth, a labyrinth of corridors stretching 3.6 kilometers, adorned with 1.200 mythological bas-reliefs. Each step echoes with the whispers of history. Level 3, Heaven, 5 lotus bud towers reaching toward the sky, accessible only by 70-degree steep stairs, forcing people to bow as they ascend. A silent reminder of humility before the divine. Yet perhaps the most astonishing feat is the hidden drainage system. Stone gutters along the walls, underground pipelines, and reservoirs were all engineered to let Angkor Wat breathe with the seasons, retaining moisture during dry spells, and intelligently draining floods during monsoons. This technology surpasses even the Roman aqueducts, and many modern cities still fall short. Incomplete carvings on the first-tier columns reveal the arduous construction process. Half-finished motifs, chisel marks still visible. These are whispers of human effort. And it's perhaps this very imperfection that lends Angkor Wat its raw, moving authenticity. Every stone here is more than material. It is a diary etched in rock, chronicling humanity's extraordinary ambition. Standing before Angkor Wat, one understands why explorer Henri Mouhot called it a masterpiece greater than the Parthenon. Every architectural line holds deep philosophy. Shadowy corridors leading into radiant spaces represent the journey from ignorance to enlightenment. And spearhead-shaped arches pointing heavenward speak of the yearning to transcend earthly bounds. This is not just construction, it is a stone epic, where art and engineering merge into an eternal whole. For centuries, Angkor Wat has stood, silent and proud, defying the laws of physics and logic. Perhaps, as archaeologist Zhou de Guan wrote in 1296, only hands guided by the divine could have created a masterpiece beyond time. Whatever the answer, Angkor Wat remains a testament to the boundless creativity of mankind, a place where willpower and intellect turn the impossible into reality. Unanswered mysteries. When Angkor Wat's art challenges human understanding, step into Angkor Wat and you'll find yourself in the world's most vivid stone museum, where every wall breathes with mystical stories. What amazes visitors is not just the grand scale, but the 3,000 Aspara carvings, each goddess with her own unique dance, her own distinct jewelry. It raises a haunting question. How did 12th century artisans craft 37 unique wrist patterns without a single repetition? With fingers curling mid-dance, hair billowing like clouds, and eyes shimmering with life despite 900 years of weathering, these carvings seem to embody the very soul of art. Most baffling of all is the depiction of a four-tusked elephant, a creature that went extinct 2 million years ago, rendered in striking anatomical accuracy. Paleontologists confirm it as a stegodon, a prehistoric species once roaming Southeast Asia. This raises the question, did the ancient Khmers unearth fossils, or inherit knowledge from an earlier lost civilization? The mystery deepens with another image on the same wall. The god Indra holding an object resembling a telescope, a device not invented until 500 years later by Galileo Galilei. As you venture deeper into shadowed corridors, more wonders emerge. A solar system map with 9 planets encoded in 9 godly statues. Neptune, discovered in 1846, and Pluto, in 1930, were included centuries earlier, an alignment too perfect to dismiss as coincidence. Astronomer John Grigsby exclaimed, either they possessed observation technology far ahead of their time, or they were handed knowledge from an unknown source. The contrast in carving techniques is equally perplexing. While works from King Suryavarman II's 12th century era exhibit extraordinary precision, statues from King Jayavarman VII's 13th century reign are oddly crude and clumsy. Archaeologist Braven Mohan questioned, it's as if some invisible hand suddenly vanished, leaving behind a technological rupture that couldn't be bridged. A small, skewed tower west of Angkor Wat, built with sloppy stonework, was dated to the same period as the main temple complex, shattering the usual logic of artistic evolution. These mysteries have led to a controversial theory. Could Angkor Wat be a replica of a prehistoric structure? Researchers found reused stone slabs bearing carving styles completely distinct from the rest. On one broken pillar, an image of a primitive spacecraft appeared beside traditional lotus motifs, a surreal blend of technology and spirituality. Could this be a clue to a lost era in human history? To this day, Angkor Wat guards its final secrets. The 216 stone faces of the Bayan statues, each expressing a different emotion, from joyous smiles to sorrowful gazes, challenge every decoding attempt. Some believe they symbolize reincarnation. Others see a map of human emotion. But perhaps, as archaeologist Philippe Stern once said, Angkor Wat is a wordless open book, where each generation finds its own questions. At sunset, when shadows of the carvings stretch across the stone, visitors hear echoes from the past, touching these millennia-old sculptures. One realizes, some secrets belong forever to time itself, and it is this eternal enigma that makes Angkor Wat a timeless jewel. Glowing amidst the labyrinth of history and legend. Angkor Wat, an unanswered mystery. Why is this grand structure so unlike anything else in Khmer history? Amidst the dense jungles of Cambodia, Angkor Wat stands tall like a colossal riddle defying all historical logic. If the Khmer people truly built this marvel in the 12th century, why is there not a single ancient text describing the construction process? Why are the later structures of the empire so inexplicably crude and small? And more importantly, how could a kingdom in decline have created a masterpiece that transcends time? Let's begin with the first piece of evidence, the only bas-relief depicting King Suryavarman II, who is believed to be the patron of Angkor Wat. While the main temple towers 65 meters high and is filled with millions of intricate details, the king's image is nothing more than a faint, simplistic carving, so plain it's hard to believe. Compare this to the Forbidden City in China, where each brick bears the imperial seal. And the question arises, could it be that this king was merely the one who restaged a wonder that had existed long before? The contrast in technical execution further confounds researchers. Angkor Wat is made from sandstone polished like mirrors, fitted together so tightly that not even a blade can slide between the joints. In contrast, later Khmer temples like Ta Prohm were built using rough, brittle laterite stones. It's as if humanity suddenly reverted to using primitive stone tools after having invented the iPhone. Archaeologist Braven Mohan points out, the stone columns at Banteay Khade, built 100 years after Angkor Wat, show clumsy carvings and even used plaster instead of precision stonework, a technological regression that's hard to explain. The mystery deepens when historians discovered there are no records of manpower mobilization. To build Angkor Wat, it's estimated that 300,000 workers labored for 35 years, about one-third of Cambodia's 12th century population. And yet, strangely, not a single inscription or chronicle mentions this enormous labor force. Meanwhile, Chinese historical records of the same era document in detail the million laborers used to construct the Great Wall. The theory of a prehistoric civilization gains traction when considering Angkor's advanced hydraulic system. Scientists discovered vast networks of canals, reservoirs, and dams, systems only seen in 19th-century modern cities. Notably, this technology disappeared completely after the Angkor era, leading to a food crisis in Cambodia. Professor Roland Fletcher, University of Sydney, poses the question, how could such advanced technology be forgotten in just a few generations? Archaeological findings only deepen the enigma. Recycled stones. Many blocks at Angkor Wat bear carvings in two distinct styles, suggesting they were repurposed from an older structure. Missing technology. Perfect cylindrical drill holes in sandstone, something only modern machines can achieve, appear scattered across the complex. Absence of tools. No chisels, pulleys, or carts attributed to the Khmer have ever been found near the site. All of this leads to a shocking hypothesis. Angkor Wat may have existed long before the 12th century, and the Khmer merely restored the structure. Supporting this are obsidian hydration tests showing some foundation stones to be up to 2.500 years old, predating the formation of the Khmer Empire. Before leaving Angkor Wat, pause at the Southern Stone Library. There you'll find a slab depicting a large sailing ship, something never seen in Cambodia's maritime history. Could it be? As researcher Graham Hancock once wrote, Angkor Wat is the final puzzle piece in a grand tapestry, where lost civilizations left behind a message that transcends time. Whatever the truth may be, this monument stands as a timeless reminder that human history still has chapters yet to be opened. Modern technology decodes Angkor Wat. Millennia-old secrets unveiled by satellites and shocking discoveries. In the 21st century, as satellites soar into orbit and laser scanning lidar technology pierces the dense jungle canopy, Angkor Wat suddenly appears in an entirely new light, as though we have just stumbled upon a lost city beneath our very feet. Aerial imagery reveals an astonishing truth. Angkor Wat is merely the tip of the iceberg of a colossal urban empire sprawling across 3.000 square kilometers, 10 times the size of Paris. Laced with a network of canals, roads, and reservoirs as intricate as veins in a living body. In 2012, litter-equipped aircraft from the International Archaeological Institute peeled back the layers of forest that had cloaked the region for centuries, exposing hundreds of hidden temples and a sophisticated infrastructure. Scientists were stunned to discover an ancient canal stretching 32 kilometers. A hydraulic marvel that enabled the transport of 10 million tons of stone from Mount Kulin to the construction site. Professor Damien Evans exclaimed, "This is a logistical system so flawless. It borders on the unimaginable." The ancient Khmer planned their city like a 21st-century engineer. Yet the most perplexing mystery lies in the traces of marine erosion found on the stone blocks. Geological analysis revealed that many slabs at Angkor Wat exhibit wave-like erosion patterns, characteristic of rocks submerged in seawater for at least 1.000 years. This pushes the estimated origin of the structure back to 500–1000 BCE. Long before the rise of the Khmer Empire, geologist Robert Schoch concluded, Angkor Wat may have undergone multiple phases of reuse, like a painting covered by successive generations. Modern technology has also unveiled baffling paradoxes. While 3D models reveal a drainage system engineered to millimeter precision, later Khmer constructions employed much cruder techniques. Ground-penetrating radar uncovered 56 perfectly cylindrical ancient wells around Angkor Wat, requiring drilling tools that match modern standards, yet not a single piece of drilling equipment has ever been found. It's as if they were handed the technology, then forgot how to use it, remarked Dr. Alison Carter. The mystery deepens as AI researchers analyzed 10.000 satellite images and discovered that Angkor Wat is aligned precisely with Earth's north-south magnetic axis, with a margin of error of only 0.01 degrees, a level of accuracy even modern compasses struggle to achieve. This explains why the temples have consistently faced the rising sun over thousands of years. These discoveries reignite the debate. Are we truly uncovering Angkor Wat, or a prehistoric replica of it? Radiocarbon dating of charcoal samples from archaeological pits revealed two distinct time layers separated by 1.500 years. While the topmost layer dates to the 12th century, a deeper layer, 8 meters below, was dated to 300 BCE. During the Dong Sun era in Vietnam, as night falls, drones hover above Angkor Wat, casting blue laser beams across the thousand-year-old stones. Under that mystical glow, the carvings seem to come alive, whispering tales of a forgotten golden age. Perhaps, as archaeologist Charles Higham once said, technology lets us see further, but also humbles us before the mysteries of the past. Today, Angkor Wat is no longer just a heritage site, it is a reminder that human history still holds chapters yet unread. And every new invention might just open the door to another unanswered question. Angkor Wat, the eternal legacy, a mystery that defies time and invites exploration. Angkor Wat is not merely a stone monument, it is an epic carved in stone, telling the story of humanity's eternal longing. For over 900 years, it has stood unshaken, defying time, nature, and even the limits of modern science. From seamless megalithic blocks to carvings that seem to depict telescopes before they were even invented, Angkor Wat keeps asking us, have we truly understood our own past? Even though modern technology has revealed an underground city spanning 3.000 square kilometers, and carbon dating traces stone back to a bygone millennium, these findings are merely doorways into a labyrinth of history. Each stone here holds two meanings. One is a 12th century Khmer masterpiece, and the other is an artifact of a far older civilization, one we have yet to name. Angkor Wat is like a cosmic puzzle, where every new piece only leads to hundreds of new questions. What makes this structure truly special isn't just its scale or engineering, it's its ability to connect humans across all eras. Visitors from around the globe, whether archaeologists, religious pilgrims, or art lovers, all hear a unique voice here. Some are astonished by the mathematical precision of its layout. Others moved by the lifelike carvings that seem to breathe, while some simply find peace in the wind echoing through its ancient stone corridors. But perhaps the greatest allure of Angkor Wat lies in its unsolved mysteries. Why did the Khmer leave no records of how it was built? Why did their advanced stoneworking techniques vanish so abruptly? And more importantly, are we willing to accept that human history may include chapters never written? As the sun sets and golden light bathes the ancient spires, Angkor Wat seems to whisper to us about the fragility of knowledge. This monument doesn't belong only to the past, it's a mirror reflecting our boundless curiosity. Every crack in its walls, every fading line of carving is an invitation. Be brave enough to question, persistent enough to seek, and humble enough to accept that some secrets may forever belong to time. Angkor Wat still stands, proud and silent, waiting for the next discovery, as it has for thousands of years. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. And now, goodbye and see you in the next videos.